Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with Podcast 31. Today, we're going to answer some more questions, 5 more questions from real estate investors. And remember, if you want a question asked and answered, send it to support@bsffacademy.com. One more time, that's support@bsffacademy.com. And we'll get your question asked and answered. And I hope everybody listening goes and listens to podcast number 30, the one where we have an actual seller call and my negotiator actually renegotiates with the seller, and we got an extra $1,000 taken off the sales price, and we found out some incredible information from the seller while renegotiating. That was an outstanding podcast. You should listen to it if you haven't. Here we go for question number 1. Can one deal a month using sub-2 owner financing model be done by someone that has a full-time job Monday through Friday? Absolutely. Can I say absolutely again? You can absolutely do that, and here's what's going to happen, and it's going to be really cool. You're going to make about $27,000 net on each one of those transactions. After a while, you're going to divide that $27,000 into how much you make per year, and you're going to go, oh my goodness gracious, why am I still working between Mondays and Fridays for somebody else on that job? Why don't I just start doing this for real full-time, do one a month, 27 profit per house, that's $324,000 a year. Now, if you don't make $324,000 a year, you need to get busy and buy some houses. Question number 2, that was an outstanding question. Question number 2, can direct mail be controlled to where most seller calls would come in at the end of the week so appointments to buy houses can be made on weekends? No. I know that was a fast answer, but let me explain. We don't control the Postal Service. I don't think the Postal Service controls the Postal Service. It's amazing to me. I am Bakersfield's largest postal customer. I am the 3rd largest postal customer in Southern California, which is a huge area. I spend millions of dollars on stamps, and I can't get them to deliver the mail when I want them to. So no, you can't do it. You just absolutely can't do it. And you know, I don't know if you should do it. You should answer the phone when the phone comes in, call comes in, scatter them out throughout the week, set your appointments at 10, 2, and 4, go buy some houses. If you're only working nights and weekends, schedule them for Saturday and Sunday. That's fine. Follow up with the seller. Make sure that they haven't sold the house to somebody else in the meantime. But my goodness, folks, if it's a Monday and you get a call from someone that says, I want to give you $100,000 and you can only see them on Saturday, you need to stop working. You need to go fire yourself and go get that $100,000. Because I know I would stop whatever I was doing and go make $100,000. I don't care what I'm doing at the moment. Except talking to you folks during the podcast. I continue to do that. Question number 3. That was a little joke. Question number 3. What do you mean when you say the real money is in buying the 60% equity-based sub-2? That's a great question, folks. Think about it this way. Here we are. We're marketing to people that have massive amounts of equity in their property. So think about if we found a seller that had a loan-to-value loan of 60%, and they'd sell it to us for the amount of their loan. But we're not going to pay the loan off. We're going to keep the property, keep that loan in place, flip that house, not have any money invested in the transaction. So I'm not giving the seller a dime. The only thing I'm investing in the transaction is my closing cost, which is minimal on the purchase side. I know total my closing cost is going to be 8.25%. But if I got a seller who's going to sell me a house reduced to 60% equity, and they have a loan with Bank of America, I'm going to buy it sub-2 all day long. No money out of my pocket except for those closing costs. So think about it this way. If you have a seller that has a 100% free and clear house, that is a seller who has a 100% seller financed home. So if you have a seller that has a 100% free and clear house, that's a seller who has placed 100% seller finance loan on that property. That's a seller who does not need the money. If they needed the money, they wouldn't have bought the house and paid it off. So that's an incredible person to go and get seller financing to, and we should take the attitude that if it's seller financed, let's keep it that way. And we should take the attitude that if Bank of America has a 60% loan-to-value loan on a property, we should leave it that way. Why should we pay Bank of America off just to go get another loan? It doesn't make any sense. Bank of America wants us to because they want to have us incur those points and closing costs so they can get those again. Well, if there's already a loan on the property, leave it alone. Leave it there. Yes, they do have the due on sale clause. Paragraph 17, I understand they could. I have never had any bank, and I've bought a lot of houses subject to, I've never had any bank call or accelerate the due on sale. So what happens if they do? They're going to give me a 30-day notice that says, we know the property is transferred, we want our money back. So I have 30 days, and then they'll start foreclosure. But I have a house that only has 60% loan-to-value loan on it. I have 40% equity. I absolutely know I can take care of that. Not a problem. It's even underneath my loan requirements from an equity lender. So the worst case scenario, I just go to Harry's Equity Lending and get Harry to give me a loan on the thing and pay the 60% off. But all day long, I'm going to buy that house sub to 60%. All day long, I'm going to buy that house from that owner-seller, that owner-finance seller deal all day long. Question number 4. How do you handle houses that are rentals and the owners has tenants in them? Well, I just bought 2. And here's the deal. These people have been in these houses. One, I think, was in there for 8 years, and one's been in there for 4 years. They pay their payments on time. They're not destroying anything. They like the house. They're going to be there forever. I'm buying the house. It's a rental. I'm going to sell it to an investor. He's going to keep it or she's going to keep it as a rental. It's a good thing. It's a good experience. Now, I'm not going to do anything to the house. It doesn't need anything because the people that are living in it don't need anything to be done, to be living in it. So it's a perfect situation for an investor who wants some passive income. For those of you guys that like passive income, that's a great thing. You don't have to worry about finding your tenant. You know you have really secure tenants who've been there 8 and 4 years, they pay their rent on time, and you know that they don't mind living there and they don't want any work to be done. So it's a perfect situation. Now, if I had a house that had tenants and it needed work, I wanted to demolish it and rebuild it or rehab it or whatever it was, I would absolutely make sure it was vacant. So it's really about how the condition of the house. Is it livable? Are there any health and safety issues? What you're going to do to the house. And then you decide if you want to keep the tenants or kick them out. Here's what you never do, though. Ever. You never buy a house that's tenant occupied on a lease because you're stuck. You're stuck until that lease is up, and sometimes that lease will get in your way. So you want to make sure you're on month-to-month tenancy and just buy it, and it's fine. That's an outstanding question, by the way. Question number 5. If you have a complicated or long name, for example, Alexander, would you use Alexander or Alex on your mail piece? Well, great question. And a lot of us deal with it. Now, my name's Michael. If you know anything about Michael, I'm an angel, so it has some benefit to use Michael. But I like the word Alex. And the reason I like Alex is it's a guy or a girl. If you sent out a mail piece that said, "My name is Alex, give me a call," you could have a girl answer the phone or a guy answer the phone as Alex, and the seller would never know. So I like the name Alex. If I had a name, like I have a coaching student who's immigrant from Africa, and his name is Io. Well, I can hardly pronounce his name, and I know what his name is. No one who sees his name on a postcard or a letter is going to know, well, what is that? I don't, from where he's at, those people would get it, but he's in Texas, and so he's marketing to Texans, and, Texans are smart people, but they may be confused. So for the longest time, I tried to get him to change the name he used on his marketing piece. Well, we finally did it. We changed it to Michael. He used mine. And his call volume went up. His opportunity went up. But then he got discouraged. He said, let me go back. I like my name. And I said, I like your name too. It's just your prospects aren't liking your name. But he went back and his call volume went down. Go figure. So then he changed it back to Michael and his call volume went back up. So when you think about a name, understand that it has to be understood by the prospects you're marketing to. So if it's a harder name to pronounce, change your name to something else. Get a nickname. It's okay. And for all of you folks on the call or on the podcast thinking, Mike, that's just wrong. You cannot use a fake name in advertising. Then I want you to realize, I'm going to let you in on a really big secret, okay? That little Geico thing, it can't talk. And Ronald McDonald, that's not real. And Jack in the Box, he's not real either. And I know some of you, this is going to be shocked too, but Santa Claus isn't real either. So we use fake mascots all the time. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's advertising. So, shorten your name, use a different name if it's a hard name. I like Alex. I like Ryan. It's another name that could be a girl or a guy. I like Michael. I guess Michael could be a girl or a guy. Great questions today, guys. Hope this helps. I've enjoyed this. Keep them coming. Keep them coming so we can answer them every day. And remember, send your questions to support at bsffacademy.com. And speaking of Academy, if any of you thought about or have thought about having a coach so that you can go from where you're at to $324,000 a year in income, well, go onto the site and look at it. Look at what you're going to learn. Fill out the application. Let's have some conversation. Let me take you to the next level in real estate investing. If you think you need it, if you think I can do it, then you owe it to yourself to fill out that form. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.